Welcome back to Sci-Fi Chronicles, everybody. I'm here with my good friend Gary and Brian. How you doing, guys? You all right?
Hey, doing good, man.
I'm good for the moment until we start our discussion.
And here we are. We are again. Each week, we promised we'd do it. We're doing Star Trek Academy each episode, each week. We're on episode 4 tonight. So let's get into it. So,
can I ask one quick question, John?
Yeah.
How many times did you expect the Jay-Den to kiss one of his contemporaries? At least 6 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They to their credit, they didn't make him gay. I'm just saying.
No, but it's a link in a chain to making him gay, and we will get there.
It all starts with lingering gazes.
So, I will start for me, and I'll get you guys to give your initial reactions to it as well. I will say I will give Holly Hunters Captain Nahla credit this week because she was dressed in the proper Federation, the Starfleet outfit. You know, okay, I didn't get to see her feet. She might have been barefooted, but I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt this week. Throughout that episode, she had Starfleet attire on, and she was sat upright in the chair this week on the Athena. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
Okay. Credit where credit's due.
Point one.
Yeah.
Her attire is about the only thing that's to her credit in this episode.
So, Brian, what are your thoughts?
This episode was sort of boring, but to be fair, most Klingon, no matter how much I like Klingons, most Klingon episodes of Star Trek where they're solely focused on Klingons become sort of a little boring, more serious, harder to slog through. And it's funny because like I like that race. I like everything about Klingons, but I don't like Klingons by themselves. Klingons are really great with humans and with other people. It's almost like the same thing with Stargate. Like I like Jaffa, I like Tilk, I like Braytak, but when the entire episode is about them and Chulak, I'm bored out of my mind. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
like they're a good spice. I don't want when the whole episode really focuses on it. It feels like a slog.
Yeah, I get you, Gary.
Well, I see that one of the co-writers of this episode was the one who's listed as the creator in this one.
So it's like a Star Trek villain itself, isn't it?
Well,
creator.
It just and I'm going to leave I've decided that I'm going to leave the young actors out of it because the cadets, as far as they're concerned, they're playing what they're given, and I honestly think they're playing it to the best of their ability.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. I'm leaving that out. I'm just focusing on the behind the scenes, the writers, the producers, etc. I'll focus on the writing. The amateurishness of so much of this show just continues to boggle my mind. And in the writing in this episode is just
don't swear.
No, I'm going to leave that to the cadets. I have my swear list. That'll be coming later on in our review, which is a lot shorter than last week's swear list, but it's still there and still there enough to be annoying. The setup and the resolution. The setup to me is inexplicable considering what we know of Trek canon. And the resolution is telegraphed a good half hour before the episode is over. And if you think about it, makes the Klingons look like complete idiots.
Yeah, but the solution wasn't telegraphed.
Oh, sure it was.
You knew they're going to do that mock battle?
I knew that the cadet would be the
I knew the cadet would offer the solution.
Well, no,
but I think the solution was interesting.
No, from the I think the halfway point was the discussion between Aki and her Klingon boyfriend. The minute he kept saying Klingons can only accept the planet if they have to fight for it, you know that that's going to have to be the resolution. in some way, shape, or form, they're going to have to maneuver the Klingons into fighting for this planet. The rest of the episode is just how do they get to that point, and how do the mechanics of it play out?
I thought it would be like a non-lethal competition.
Yeah,
not a mock battle.
I don't think but we'll get into the mechanics of the mock battle. But the thing about it is that they have to leave it to Jay-Den. I'm not going to say Jay-Den. I'm just going to say to Jayden. I cannot say
Jay-Den Smith.
Yes. To Jayden.
Get down with the kids, Barry.
Jayden has to be the one to have the big enlightening thing that offers the ambassador, the chancellor, everybody above him doesn't think of this, but it's left to him to. So
yeah.
When her boyfriend is in there saying, look, Klingons will only accept this if you have to fight for it. She's 400 years old and has how many decades of experience with Klingons? It doesn't occur to, and considering that how devious she was last episode with planting these subtle clues for the, strategic clues for the cadets to figure out,
which I did think was clever. And
right. Okay, good. So a week later, she can't figure out what's being like telegraphed to her in big screaming red letters that the Klingons, the solution is to craft a situation where the Klingons will fight for it. She's 400 years old. She can't even figure that out. It's got to be left to Jayden to do.
Do you know?
I don't know. I like the idea of a mock battle because it's also sort of pushing the Klingons into a more progressive stance.
No, I agree with you about the mock battle with one exception, but my point is why couldn't Aki figure that out with all of her experience? Jayden has to be the one to get the big revelation. That just seemed
I agree, and
right to me.
And we will jump on that. I think one thing that I'm going to say though, guys, is that I'm not a fan of this episode. Surprise, surprise.
It's sort of boring.
I've not enjoyed it. It was boring. I will say though, I actually like the fact that it may be because some of the the main cast, like the officers, weren't in it as much this week, but it was played serious for most of it, and the tone, it works so much better for this show while it's played serious. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a world beater by any means, but certainly when you've seen the previous episodes, there's weird comedy moments that they just throw into it. This was played serious throughout the episode. And like, I actually thought Captain Nahla, Holly Hunter, she's actually sat in her chair. She's talking to, Jay-Den when he's in her quarters. And she's actually speaking like,
a chancellor.
A chancellor. And she reminds me of how Janeway would talk to Harry Kim, back in the day. So I like the fact that they did that. Yeah, exactly.
She was much better this episode.
This is the first, I don't know about you guys, I still don't like the concept of the character, but this is the first time in this series that I could actually take the Jem'Hadar woman seriously.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Same.
After that scene with Jayden, that's the first time.
Same. I hate the concept of the character, but it worked this episode.
Yeah, 100%.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. Can we just start at the?
This episode, by the way, can I just quickly? This episode was, even though it was boring, was also more Star Trek-y than other episodes has been.
It
had more of a Star Trek tone, less of a Guardians of the Galaxy tone.
It's slowly edging there.
It's edging the Star Trek tone.
Yeah, to Star Trek. Yeah.
Although they still have not figured out how to pronounce the Klingon homeworld or.
Okay. I mean,
weird accents over Kronos. I don't understand.
I've got to call out the first scene though, because I had to watch the first scene twice because I thought I can't believe what I'm seeing. So the way they staged that first one, where she's sitting there basically waxing melodic about her thing, the first shot looks like I was going, wait a minute, she's the only one on the bridge. There's nobody on the bridge but her, because I look behind her on the bridge, there's nobody to be seen. I thought that was odd. But the fact that, and I have her quote, I wrote this down. This nebula wouldn't have evolved into its present without every moment of its past. What grade school composition?
I mean, she's not wrong.
What grade school composition tripe is that?
Yeah.
She's not wrong.
She's
That's
not
true.
wrong. She's not wrong in that basically she just defined evolution.
Yeah, no. She defined time. It's not even evolution. She defined the basic passage of time, which is pretty wild.
Brian,
it's another link in the chain. It's another link in the chain, guys.
I can confidently say, Brian, that you wouldn't have evolved into your present without every moment of your past.
You too, Gary. You also wouldn't have evolved into your present with every moment of your past.
It's another link in the chain of each episode. I'm standing by it. These cadets are far smarter than the officers. They are leagues ahead of the officers.
It seems like they're less
one exception
burdened. Like they're less burdened, and they're able to
them retarded.
Yeah, they're able to just be normal, learning, thinking human beings or whatever they are.
Yeah.
Unlike the adults who seem to be continually burdened by things that we can't even see. We've never seen on screen, which is,
I mean,
frustrating.
Can I say
introducing a bunch of characters that are 400 years old with all this baggage that we've never seen, and then expecting us to know about them already drives me nuts. You know, when the big admiral guy comes in, I always forget his name, and he's like, "Look, I read your personal files." And so I was half expecting her to be like, "Why are you in my personal files, dude?"
Yeah, I know.
But he's like the most reasonable person here. He's making the most reasonable decisions.
Wait, I've got to clarify for myself something about the admiral. So clearly he's not on Earth in the Academy because he was like a transmission, right? Because he glitched out a couple of times. But then when they get up into space for the final battle, he is there. So he's just located
and
elsewhere, right?
I think he's with the fleet.
Yeah. Can I also say as well, it was good to see Robert Picardo back as a doctor again.
Except for he got the speech wrong. He got the quote wrong.
Drumhead. Yeah, he did.
I noticed that immediately, bro. And I haven't seen that episode in like 20 plus years.
And they didn't mention at all that, the judge's daughter was a complete psychopath.
Yeah, Nora Sati, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. But,
John, that was expunged from all official Starfleet records is her melting down during that trial.
But again, can I jump to like a few minutes in? We're at the debate stage. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but I get the feeling that Alex Kurtzman and his co are trying to give us some sort of message. He's trying to tell us something. What could it be?
What could it be?
Yeah, and what is it? He said, sentient existence should return to a pre-warp time. Every species enjoyed the more harmonious, peaceful era. Well, yeah, but you can't always have a peaceful, harmonious era because there's people that will attack you potentially.
Exactly, brother.
And then what is it? She says Genesis responds with, amateurs motivate, it might have been Caleb, amateurs motivate arguments with feelings, not facts.
That was great.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So it's like I think you've backfired on the message there.
I was going to say I paused that.
Dude, when he said that, I was like, "Yes, Caleb, yes,
exactly."
Oh yeah, bro.
Here was my reaction to that. I thought, wow, I didn't think that this bunch of writers would be capable of such self-awareness. But truer words have never been spoken. I thought that in one line describes half of this country over the last
half the world, dude.
Half the world in the last 8 years. But it's
no, that line. I swear to God, if I was going to make a shirt for this, that would be the line.
Yeah,
if I was going to make a shirt for this show, that would I might already make it. I might just make it. Yeah. It's the best line I've seen in modern Star Trek.
Yeah. Amen.
It was so good, and of course, it came out of my favorite character. The only character that has any redeeming, real redeeming qualities so far for the show. That's keeping me interested is Caleb.
Yeah, the person.
The one guy, by the way, who has no acting experience of anyone on this cast. The only guy who's a literal newbie is holding the entire thing on his shoulders for me.
The person who wrote that, then, though, I think was fired after they realized that got through.
And of course,
and it was delivered by a masculine character. Whoa.
And of course, they go for an anti-religion sort of comment as well, that Kahless was all myth. Well, it wasn't myth technically, because he did come back. Technically, yes, he was a clone, but he became emperor in name only. So I did chuckle at that. I do also, you know, the debating was laughable. You've got holographic girl going, "Hi, Caden, hi," from the other podium, and I'm like,
she's a clown. She's a Sam is a clown.
Also, I would argue that arguing and debating against Chat GPT is not fair.
Also,
right?
To show you,
like when she gets a point, like there should be a giant asterisk over that point.
Yeah, exactly. But she would just agree with you the whole time anyway. Like, oh, your opinion is perfect.
The way ChatGPT. Well, I see what you're saying there. I think that you're probably right and I'm probably wrong. Sorry about that. Yeah, they would do the ChatGPT.
And clearly
we should do a video where we debate against ChatGPT and see what happens.
Well,
Sorry.
Clearly, when they were filming Sam's scenes at the podium, there was nobody on set that day with any knowledge of Star Trek, because the minute she said Khitomer, somebody should have goes, cut. You know,
come on.
Like, Sam hears it's Khitomer, not Khitomer.
I think the reason they're saying the words wrong, okay, and this is I'm just
because
being,
it's been a long time ago.
Because it's been a long time. I'm just, and you're probably right. It's probably that they don't know Star Trek and they can't figure out how to pronounce the Klingon homeworld's name. But you can argue that it has been a long time, like 10 generations, right? So I can see things being said incorrectly in historical context.
But you guys seriously, when she gets
or even you know how words evolve a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember color? Now we say color.
Yeah. I think,
but seriously, when she turns and goes, "Hi, Mir," are you capable of now at this point taking that character seriously? Because I'm not. I cannot take that character seriously.
Well, this is the thing.
The Sam character?
Yes.
I don't think you're meant to. I think she's supposed to be comedic relief. And there might be a moment when we might get an episode where she does evolve as a sentient. Huh?
She's the show's Tilly, essentially.
Yeah, she's like the show's Tilly. Well, I mean, or sort of the show's Doctor. You know, the first season of Voyager, the Doctor was not a serious character. He was sort of comedic relief. Remember how many episodes did they play around the fact that his hologram emitters were messed up and he was too short or too tall?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it takes time for the photonic characters to sort of develop their own personality. I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah, I will say, guys, as well, when the Doctor actually says, when he's finishing the debate, and he says, "Debate brought Betazed back into the Federation." No, it didn't. Kaleg begged the Betazoid president's daughter to get him back at the debating podium for one last go. And they didn't debate. They bribed them by basically putting the Federation headquarters on Betazed. That's not debating. That's caving into their demands. Okay. So,
and I'm going to say something, and I know what Brian's response will be.
No, you don't.
And it might be a valid. It might be a valid response.
He's going wild today, everybody.
It might be a valid response, but I don't know if they're doing this to troll fans or whatever. And why does Mir say? And I know you can say, well, okay, Mir, he's not he grew up, whatever. Yeah. That's the ways. Why does he say star dates as 2221 as opposed to star date 2294.5? He's the only one that actually says it like it's an actual, why on star date 3495?
Do you know what it reminded me of? Do you know what it reminded me of? It's the AI videos on YouTube that people do, and it's like a film from 1984, and it goes, in the year 1984, and you're like, AI video straight away.
Yeah, like they can't, they they say everything so properly, and that's not how we speak. You know. Yeah, I get what you're saying, Gary. It didn't bother me, but
no, it just kind of niggled at me. But I was curious. What do you?
How about the fact that the Klingon leader was clearly a white guy in makeup?
Yeah, I know.
When was the last time we've seen that? I don't think I've ever seen a Klingon that was a white guy.
No. I am going to say we had the albino from Deep Space Nine, but he was
right. I remember that
written that way because they made the point that he was an albino, specifically, not because of the skin color of the guy.
Right.
Even as we speak, there's several dozen videos being made about how could Star Trek betray us like this.
Guys, I'm going to say it now, okay? And I'm going to say it to you both, and I want to get your instant reactions. I'm looking at facial expressions as well. My fathers and mother taught me better than that. You grew up with 3 parents? A triad house.
All right, here's my instant reaction.
Dude, that poor mother must have been walking funny.
I am so frigging sick of the effing identity politics in this series. I mean, I cannot.
They can't help themselves.
I cannot.
Why didn't we get to see his 2 fathers and mothers though? Did we?
Yeah, we did on the flashback.
Oh, I thought
one of them sat by the campfire, is just silent.
Yeah, you think one of them is like an uncle or something, which is probably.
Yeah, I thought it was like his uncle or his brothers or whatever.
It's an incestuous house.
Yeah, the thing is, so it's canon that Klingons have 2 penises. Just so you guys know, this is canonical that Klingons have a double penis, which means that poor woman had to deal with 4 penises. My God. My God, my wife complains about one,
and none of them, and none of them had transferred the warrior gene for Jay-Den.
Yeah.
It's like
you got to repopulate the species, babe.
At least if you remember on Alien Nation about how it's the man who carries, the baby, and there was this complex thing about, and it was probably well explained on that show where like you get one of them who's like a facilitator. And because that's genetically how the embryos are done, and that was explained over a series of episodes on that series. But here, it's just thrown out so cavalierly that all you can do is just eye roll and go, man. It's like to their dying breath.
When's it going to hit
these
bottom?
People will not let this crap go.
I mean, it feels like it's slowly going the other way, though. Like when he said "feelings, not facts," I lost my mind. But quick on alienation, I never liked that because it doesn't make sense from an evolutionary standpoint for the male, which is like the hunter, right? The provider to be evolutionarily held up during the child rearing process makes no sense. And there's no way you can explain that scientifically. It doesn't make any sense. The father of the species is really the one that you can chuck this up to which one doesn't have to carry the child. Whoever's not carrying the child is usually going to be the aggressive predator of the species.
No, the reason that came to mind is because I was just trying to think of like what's another science fiction series that played kind of fast and loose with the
Orville
of procreation and stuff. Well,
the Orville, with the laying of eggs. And the all male species.
But okay, so that was my reaction, Brian. John asked the question? What was your reaction to that?
My reaction was, to be honest, I'm kind of prepared that it's going to come up now because they cannot help themselves. Again, it's like the dying rhetoric of a dying dictator with these people. It really is, and their viewing figures keep cratering, and they keep, like you said, Gary, they keep dialing it in because they think maybe if we do it for the 400th time, it might get through the message to people. But no,
right now it is a dying ideology though, on TV and movies, because it's slowly becoming less and less, even in Star Trek.
Yeah,
I totally expected Jay-Den to already just be a power bottom, and that hasn't happened.
I mean, instead of giving us another pretentious Latin title, and I'm not even really sure what the title of this episode means, why didn't they just call this episode Jay-Den Has Two Daddies? That would have been
that was a small part of it, though. I literally
better title for this episode.
That's the season finale, mate.
That was a pretty small part of it, though, because I literally glossed over that. I didn't even remember that.
I also, when you have the flashback scene to his family, on the planet, and I did laugh because his mum speaks with a Jamaican accent. And I thought, okay, she's obviously from the Jamaican sect on Kronos, Did
it seem to you, John, like his mom? I would have to watch it again, but I'm not going to watch it again. Didn't it seem to you like for the actress that was playing his mom, they gave her like the bare minimum of like Klingon makeup? I mean, she didn't even look to me in the scant shots that she was in like a Klingon. Like they just did a couple of ridges, give her a couple of ridges. It's like, okay, you're Klingon.
Yeah, and again, I also have to say, the acting of his dad and his brother, as well as his mum, for the little she did, was awful. When his brother's dying, and I've got to be honest with you, I've seen armchair theatre that's 10 times better than that. It was really, really bad.
Let's review that.
And well, for a minute there, I thought they were gonna make his brother like his boyfriend or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank God I was his brother. I mean, that was a good relationship. I felt so bad. Like that's his brother. It's his only person that really,
role model.
Yeah, it's a role model. He sees the value of Jay-Den's personality versus the typical Klingon. And of course, I the second I realized that he was like someone that was close to him, I was like, oh, this poor guy's gonna die.
Yeah. His brother is like, I'm dying, Jay-Den. Take my spare penis with you and carry it always.
You will need it.
In the pilot, doesn't Jay-Den say something like he's really close to his mom or something? Jay-Den talks about his mom. So wait, so now he wasn't really close to his mom because apparently she didn't understand him either?
I'm paraphrasing, but I'm pretty sure there's something in the first episode where he talks about. I'm sure he says he was close to his mum.
Yeah, right.
And that's why he kind of wanted to go the science route.
There you go. But according to this, his mom didn't understand him either because his brother was the only one that understood him. So which is it?
Well, can I also, guys?
By the way, the Latin is voice on high.
Right.
Okay.
Is that the bird of prey?
I still think Jay-Den's Two Daddies would be a better title.
Yeah.
It's funny because I really glossed over the triad thing. I guess I didn't.
Did it shock? Okay, wait.
Out, mate.
This is a serious question to the two of you. Considering everything we've had to put up with for the last like 10 years in entertainment, I've got to say, and I'm being honest, I'm not making a joke. I was stunned that they actually gave him two dads instead of two moms. I was honestly stunned.
Yeah. No, because I think John's right. I think what we're seeing is the echoes of a dying ideology in storytelling.
Yeah.
And the pendulum might swing back the other way again in a generation, in 10 years, 15 years, where we go right back to like, movies like Bottoms and and hypersexualized, overly gay LGBT. But I think right now we're seeing the echoes of a dying ideology. And so they're going to be in things, but it's not going to be as blatant because the shareholders, the people that hold the purse strings, that actually worry about the bottom line, regardless of their opinions or their ideology or their personal beliefs or their sexuality, they had to have realized after the last 15 shareholder meetings that this is not working. And so remember, Hollywood's a pretty big ship. It doesn't, you can't just turn on a dime. So when it has to turn around, that big ship has to slowly turn around. And there's some groaning and creaking and cracking of wood as it turns around back toward profit. But I think we are seeing a change. Like this year alone, there's so many movies coming out this year. So many movies. You can go through and look at every movie. And I did this. We're going to be talking about on our show this Saturday. Yeah. And I could not find one blatant, like, so progressive movie. Unlike other years where like the entire year was just infested with hyper progressive.
Oh, you mean Brian? You mean what? Madam Web 2 isn't coming out this year? Is that what you mean?
I mean, but so we're seeing that ship. That ship is turning, and so that ideology is going to reflect in Star Trek, as if Star Trek continues, which I don't think it mildly is going to. But if it does, it will see it slowly start to become less and less normal, even in the 3,000 years in the future Discovery, where in their own roots, everyone was just hypersexualized gay pronouns. Notice I haven't seen a single pronoun. There's no feelings. Like, this show is so much less woke than Discovery was. Like,
100%.
On another level, like it's so close to normal.
Discovery is the dumpster fire of Kurtzman's Star Trek.
Right. Even if the writing here is not always good, and there's stupid characters like Jim and Dart, and there's some gay stuff in there, it's just not in your face like it was in Discovery.
Well, speaking of that, Brian, what did you guys think of the whole of the like Tutamag Dod scene, whatever that?
I swear, I thought that I was like, are they going to kiss?
Yeah.
but then what?
Though, isn't it?
And here's the deal, like, dude, I'm telling you, 20-year-old me watching Star Trek Voyager would never have considered that. I would have thought this is a bro trying to help a bro, right? But because I've been so tainted by modern Star Trek, my first thought is like, this dude is going to straight up make out with this guy.
Yeah.
And what happens is, it actually becomes a pretty heartwarming scene where I sort of like the English guy. What's his name? I don't know. He's not human.
The blue guy who won't turn blue again.
Whatever he is, I sort of I liked his approach to helping Jay-Den. It made a lot of sense, and it was sort of like it felt like a bro moment.
You're right.
Exactly what he was doing. So two soldiers would do.
I agree with you.
He's the guy that is coming in now that's kind of playing himself as being the arsehole, but really he'll help you out when you're in a pinch.
Asshole with a heart of gold. And if you haven't had a friend group that had that one asshole, and he was an asshole, but he was your asshole. He would always show up when you needed him to show up. He was a little bit of an asshole. John,
he would never say that to your face, John.
He didn't always say the right thing. He was a little prideful. But when you needed him at 2 a.m. because you got pulled over by a cop and there was a checkpoint 2 blocks ahead, he would show up. Like, and I love that one scene last week where Tig was talking about. I don't know what a real character. Reno. Yeah, the ones who show up. Those are the people that care about you. And that exactly. I've had assholes in my life, and they're assholes, and I got to keep my distance sometimes. But if I call, they will show up. They're your assholes. And
I actually think that
Trump's a little bit asshole, but he's our asshole.
But I think that's a very well observed point, Brian, which is that because of our very understandable expectations because of all the stuff that's been shoveled at us in the last decade, we think that even for a scene that might have a different intention, we're expecting something else because we've been so accustomed to the lowest common denominator stuff. I actually think, for this scene, they should have gone back and overlaid the original series music where it's like the down, 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 da da down, 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 da da down. Put that on this scene. That'll give it
quarters. Yeah. I mean,
with soft focus lenses.
We got to talk about it, guys. So
Darem, that's the character's name. Darem.
Yeah.
Darem. Got it. Yeah. Thanks, man. I've got
he's growing on me, dude.
We gotta talk about it as well. The fact that the flipping burn again. The flipping burn. I hate that thing with a passion.
Can't get away from it.
So Kronos and basically they say because of the burn, the Klingon Empire is uninhabitable and they're nearing extinction. There's only 8 houses left. Can I just ask a question, guys? Okay. The burn. So it decimates completely the Klingons, but yet the Federation's okay. Other species are okay. They might have had issues, but they're still going. And as you said last week, Brian, what about the Romulans who use a different power system? They would be the dominant force in the the galaxy right now.
They'd be the only dominant force. And especially with their like general, the vibe, the way they just take over. If they have the chance, they'll take over.
Yeah,
like they should have taken over the entire universe.
The
Discovery should have went to the future.
Romulans.
Yes.
That would have been a way that I'm giving that to 3 Kurtzman. If you had done it, it was a scheme by the Romulans. That would have had people more interested in
that would have made them the most dominant species in the entire universe overnight. Discovery should have gone to the future, and they should have been immediately accosted by Romulan birds of prey.
Yeah. 100%.
I'm actually I'm going to throw a red flag on the fact that the Klingon Empire was destroyed by the burn. Klingons don't use dilithium, do they?
Well, they do.
Well, wait a minute. Let's go to Star Trek. Let's go to Star Trek 4, right there on my wall. My favorite Star Trek movie.
They use a different
Captain. These Klingon crystals. The time travel's drained. Clearly, whatever the bounty, the Romulan bird of prey they used was not running on regular dilithium crystals, because Scott could have fixed it if it was.
So Gary, I really hate to be that guy, but
no, you don't.
actually you're proving your own. I don't. You're actually proving your own point. So they use their refining process for dilithium is not as clean as ours. So they run everything dirty, which would actually make sense. That they would be 6, so effective.
Praxis. Yeah.
And I was going to say to you guys, but what I don't get about this, and again, this is a stretch that they're trying to get me to buy, is the fact that they're powering their refineries and their energy sources on the planets are dilithium crystals. No, they would have different sources, of energy to do that. It wouldn't be dilithium crystals. They're for powering starships.
No, but I do remember that there was. So I remember, what's that movie? Remember that really, really bad TNG movie? It was where they cloned Picard. What was it called?
Oh, Nemesis.
God damn, that was a bad movie.
Give me Nemesis.
So in that movie, though, I remember them saying something about geothermal vents or whatever, and they compared geothermal vents to the Romulan homeworld to Klingon homeworld or something like that. And then I also read I read, and I'm not sure, it might not be canon, but it was an official Star Trek book. I read a book once that was about it actually had Kirk in it, which is awesome, a resurrected Kirk.
Yeah.
And he had gone to Chad. It was like half Klingons, half something else. And in that book, one of the scenes was them having to blow up or disable a dilithium generator, and they talk in that book about how they use that to power their planetary defenses. And I mean, it's official Star Trek book, but I'm not sure if it's canon. Either way, I remember that very clear. And so when they talked about dilithium generators I was like, that in my own head canon, from what I've read and watched, it makes sense that Klingons would be like, we want the most efficient but also fastest possible way to power our stuff. And so maybe they went too ham on the dilithium generators.
Yeah, I stand corrected on that. I just think, the trouble with these writers is the fact that it just doesn't seem believable that, yes, you could have the Klingons completely decimated. I get, okay, let's take that on face value for the moment. But you're telling me that the Federation wouldn't have had significant trauma and devastation because of the burn on their planets as well. But that's never discussed. That it's not even brought up. Yeah. And I think what I find strange as well is at the end of the episode, and I'm going to jump to this bit. You're talking about 100 years. And from a technological point of view, it's almost like the Federation, even with all the burn, they've been isolationists. Their tech is far more advanced than the Klingons now. Now, their weaponry is still advanced and would still do damage. And again, I'm going to come out and talk to you guys about the end of the episode because...
Oh, it's called Ashes of Eden. It's it's part of the Captain's Blood series, written by William Shatner.
It was that was the first one of
after the return.
That was the first one of the 9 because they did 3 trilogies.
Didn't he do Spectre
that was the first one.
Yeah.
But that one that the Ashes of Eden was mostly like a flashback to before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a flashback. But yeah, it was Captain's Glory, Dark Victory, Captain's Blood, The Observer. Really cool books. By the way, if you guys have not read these books,
oh, they're great.
Oh,
written by Shatner. They are technically official Star Trek canon. I'm not sure how he got away with that, but they're really good.
Yeah,
and it has TNG characters, Voyager characters.
Yeah, they're written also. They're co-written with by Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens, who wrote like so many great books.
Yeah,
Post Generations as well. Yeah, which is what I like about it. I mean, again, look, you know, I'm gonna before actually we get to the end bit where we talk about the finale. Okay, I'm gonna say one thing. All right, the Doctor. He rightly calls out the cadets, the bratty cadet who basically is a know-it-all. We've all seen that type of cadet who basically says, well, in the current situation, I think we should sort of talk about what's happened to the Klingons. It's like, no, you've got a cadet here who's dealing with trauma.
He might cry.
Don't bring up, you know, but he says, yeah, let's go ahead with it. But then they go, and this is what I love about this. I did chuckle at this because they got to get this one in there as well. It's like, the cadet, everyone knows that they lost Kronos because they blew it up themselves. And then Kaleg responds with, no one needs your embarrassing conspiracy theories. So it's like, oh, okay, they're trying to tell us something, everybody. You know, trying to teach us.
Well, the thing about this will be a good point for me to,
I saw the same thing.
This will be a real good point for me to really, really quickly go through this week's short list of are we in the 32nd century or are we in yesterday? So the doctor, I love how the doctor in his little little comment about how, you know, we're going to bring back after 100 years, you know, the power of debate where every word is gold and you have to pick your words precisely. Then uses the term chicken shit. I thought, well, that was kind of interesting.
I like how the kid called him out.
And then we get
what was sort of cool. And he's like, listen, I've lived several thousand lifetimes or whatever. I'm like, hey, he's got a good point. Like, let the guy say whatever he wants.
Well, I like the fact that we get the 20th century term "got game." That was funny. We get "dude" twice. We get
Gary hates the modern slang being used.
We get I'm sure the writers patted themselves on the back for this. We get master debater, which is oh so clever. We get a we get a dick, we get a shit, and we get an asshole.
And we get Captain Nahla saying the cops came out. You know, 20th, 21st century.
All right, explain to me though, the kid with glasses. I couldn't stop looking at the kid with glasses. It's like, why do we still have glasses here? Last week, they can regenerate through like a DNA sample. They can regenerate an eyeball in about 10 minutes to use in their little Ocean's 11 scheme.
Yeah.
But now people still need glasses. What is that?
Yeah, the glass. We made a video. We put a video out. It was a clip of our show where we talked about the whole glass. There was a great post on Twitter with someone who explained why writing in things like glasses and wheelchairs in universes, universes where those things have already been solved or they don't exist. Oh yeah. So the tweet basically says having wheelchairs and glasses in universes where those problems have already been solved is the same as putting a modern day Shelby Mustang in a Dungeons and Dragons movie or Lord of the Rings.
100%.
Because those things don't exist in that universe. So you could put them in that universe, but then you have to very much explain that to the audience why they exist. And they even use the example of Kirk not wearing glasses because he was allergic to Retina X or whatever.
Retina X5.
Retina X5. Because he was allergic to that. But they made it very clear that's good writing. When you just ignore those things in universes where those problems have been solved, like it makes no sense in World of Warcraft for there to be wheelchairs when you have healing potions. Hello, right? You have to explain things.
If you're that spine rebuilt, you know that's in
right. If you can regenerate a limb, then you don't need a wheelchair.
If you're that kid sitting there where the doctor was talking to with the big glasses there. And I wear glasses for reading. I'm not slamming people who wear glasses. But if I'm that kid, why not after class, am I not going to the lab and regenerating 2 new eyeballs that don't need glasses?
Shane said the same thing on last Saturday's show. He goes, look, wearing glasses sucks, but but even if you like them as a fashion statement, no one wants to actually have to wear them. So if you like them as a fashion statement, go regenerate your corneas and put on a regular glass, non-magnifying glass lens if you like it for the fashion. Yeah. That's the problem. Like, and that's the issue with having 10 episodes and they're about 45 minutes. They tend to go, well, we don't have to explain glasses. People understand glasses, but in this universe you do. Because in this universe, that problem has been solved. I know we're like, it feels nitpicky, but it's not. This problem does not exist in this universe. So if you reintroduce the problem in the universe, you have to explain it the same way as if you're watching Lord of the Rings 14 and a fucking Mustang car drives across the screen. You gotta go, where did that come from?
Yeah.
I know it's an absurd comparison, but it is totally valid.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm gonna say this bit, guys, and where we get to the end of the episode, okay, we've got the big fight, and so what they've decided to do is they've gone, right, we're gonna basically make them attack so they feel like that they've won. They've won the planet victoriously. Now, I have questions here because, okay, first of all, right, I don't know about you guys, but I burst into hysterics when she basically said the USS Riker is here. I was like, come on, for crying out loud. You really are dragging the bottom of the barrel now.
No, but John, everybody on board the USS Riker has to step over the back of it. They're forbidden
to
serve on that ship without using the Riker maneuver to sit down.
There isn't a single chair on the USS Riker that has a backing. It's only stools. That's what I want to see. Hey, real quick, Gary. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I was going to say what she says is the Klingon fleet turn up, so they're already in this sector and they're powered up, and she waits literally about a minute or two before she goes, "Let's go to red alert." You should have been at red alert to begin with.
Right, that's true. Hey, real quick to the slang thing. And you keep talking about it, and I think it is actually an issue, because if you go back to original Star Trek, Kirk didn't understand
double dumbass,
colorful metaphors. Yeah, like double dumbass on you,
and on the bus as well. Yeah,
right. And it wasn't just Kirk. Even in Voyager, how many times did Paris have to explain 20th century anything to everyone? So it doesn't make sense that they'll be using that much slang, and I do feel like they need to dial it way back, or maybe invent new slang that becomes t-shirts. And I thought about that. Maybe that's one of the biggest problems with modern Trek is they try to ingrain themselves in what the current culture is, when Legacy Trek didn't try to adopt current culture. It made culture.
Yes, what it made potentially could be.
Brian, I agree with everything you just said. I would replace your use of the term ingrain. I would say it's pandering.
Sure.
I think,
but isn't that a problem? That's why you don't see a lot of new Trek merch, toys, models. Like the stuff that was the backbone of the profit center of Star Trek for 50 plus years, you don't see that with New Trek, and that's because they are adopting current culture versus making culture.
I will go so far as to say I think the language, the elevated language used in I'm going to stick to the original series. I think A, that's one of the reasons why the show is so beloved, but B, I think that's one of the reasons why the original show will always be timeless. The incessant use of the lowest common denominator 20th century or early 21st century language dates this show instantly. Yeah. It will never that alone will always keep it from being anywhere near the other Trek.
Yeah. Voyager the same way. I like that they took Voyager and they made Tom Paris a character who loved the 20th century, right?
Yeah,
because then you can bring you can bring some of our culture into it and have it almost as like a museum piece, where 1,000 years from now, someone is looking at our culture from like an enthusiastic point of view, but don't understand the context of it. It's actually very clever.
And that actually, Brian, that even paid off in the Future's End when they came back to 1996, because even Paris to an extent was lost. He was a little bit more, he was just off. He was a little bit more up on than his crewmates. But he wasn't like, he was still behind in some ways, even when
because he reads about it. He never actually experienced it.
Exactly right.
And it makes it timeless, John. You're totally right. Those shows are timeless because they didn't go, we're going to pander to this time. We're going to create our own culture. And dude, how much of that culture has become our culture now? There are phrases, t-shirts, even science fiction shows and TV shows that have nothing to do with Paramount or CBS or the owners of Star Trek have adopted the same sort of ensemble cast, same archetypes that Star Trek had since the 50s. It's wild.
Yeah. It is mad. And I'm gonna finish it up here, guys, as well. We're talking about the Federation, the Starfleet strategy. Okay, so the Klingon leader knows about the fact that it's a ruse, right, to get them to take the planet, but the rest of the Klingons don't know because it's all about honor, according to them. And you get to the point and she goes, this is Hunters Captain Nahla. Tell the fleet to shoot wide and put on a good show. Right?
Absolutely.
When she said that, I was like, my eyes rolled. But then you see the Klingon ships firing at the Federation ships and hitting them, and I'm thinking to myself, they don't know that this is all a ruse and a simulation to get the planet. And the thing that annoys me the most about it is they talk about they can't just take the charity of the Federation. They completely ignore Star Trek 6 because they can't be bothered. Star Trek 6, with the disaster that happens, you have the whole Khitomer Accords that come from it, and the Federation helps
Khitomer, John.
Khitomer. And it helps them set up a new home world. You don't have that in this. They basically have used it just purely to get to this point. And I got to the end of that and I was like, really? That's your strategy. That's how you give them planet. The Klingons, as it was turned out in Deep Space Nine, when they begin the fight, they don't end the fight unless there's a particular reason. They only stopped fighting the Federation in Deep Space Nine because the Dominion gave them an ass kicking. So they joined and they formed a pact.
This is why I used the term at the top of the show, amateurish, for the writing. This makes the Klingons look like complete idiots. How stupid is it to order that make their shots go wide? You don't think the Klingons are going to notice that? Why couldn't she say something like, okay, make sure that all your shots are either near misses or hits that don't cause any real damage?
I mean, how do you say that though in like 3 seconds?
But by not saying it, it makes the Klingons look like idiots. Like the Klingons are going to say, wow, that was a great bet. Notice we didn't get a single "today is a good day to die" in this entire episode, but the Klingons don't even really need to worry about that because they're in no danger.
But Gary, imagine
all the shots are going wide.
Imagine like one overly enthusiastic Klingon. Today is a good day to die.
And there's an explosion. There's two penises floating in space.
But the fact
and then it juxtaposes to Holly Hunter, and she's like,
I'll take a frappuccino, please.
You say, make sure that all of your shots are near misses or just do cosmetic damage. You don't say make all your shots go wide.
Yeah, can I
I don't have a problem with any of this stuff. Remember, Klingons are behind the Federation at this point, so it's almost like play fighting with a child.
But you've essentially you know, you don't mess with the Klingons, but potentially because technically you've become the enemy of the Klingons because the Chancellor hasn't confirmed anything, the leader of the Klingons. You've got a terrorist faction, you've got terrorist Klingons on a Federation world now, within Federation sector, that could strike wherever they want to at any particular moment. That's not explained. But do you know what I find hilarious? And we'll wrap up in a minute. They they suddenly have found, all of a sudden, they found this mystical world that is exactly perfect for the Klingons, that's been in their database for quite some time, and they've only just discovered it now. I mean, it's so
I suspect
easy.
there are probably many worlds like that that humans wouldn't feel comfortable on, but maybe Klingons do.
And they can terraform. We know you can terraform in the Star Trek world universe. So I mean, it's exactly. So it's crazy. I mean,
and I know we're wrapping up. I will say really super quick. The one thing that kind of annoyed me is that the whole concept for this episode, while a valid one, the fact that we could be introduced to the concept of the Klingon diaspora and have it solved in 50 minutes, when a concept like that, if this was on Deep Space Nine, would have been played out for half a season. The fact that they can introduce this and resolve it so quickly, just
they have to, though. They have to, Gary. This is modern TV. This is not modern. This is not Star Trek. This is a symptom of modern television.
Well, yeah, no, I bet that
you have 10 episodes. You have 10 episodes to tell a complete story. You can't spend 6 episodes on one arc.
But I've got 2 things as well quickly. One is, how the heck did Jay-Den get off the planet? Because that device was broken, so he couldn't communicate
with anybody.
It.
He had to fix it.
Well, yeah, but we don't get that because Caleb fixes it for him at the end of the episode. Because it's broken, it's in pieces.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So he's not fixed it. So how's he get off the planet? That's a loophole.
Well, I mean, they did trade from someone that was on that planet, right?
Yeah, that's true. Again,
so maybe he went back to that place.
It's again what we've said before about Stargate. The writers of Stargate SG-1, they would have put a line in to explain that. Wouldn't have taken long, but they would have just gone, like transport ship turned up.
Yeah, when he fixed it, he goes, I thought this was I thought I was never going to see this again when I had to go back to that trader and get a ride off of that planet. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I will say my last thought at the end of this episode is I so deeply want to know what Ron Moore and Ira Stephen Bear and Robert Hewitt Wolf and Renee Echevarria think of this show. I would love to see what they think of this series.
I'm gonna be a little bit of I'm gonna be sacrilegious here to a lot of you guys, but like,
don't do it. Don't do it.
Sorry, but Ron Moore and Ira, what's his name? I always forget his name. Ira something.
Ira Stephen Bear, who's the producer of USS.
So these guys are just as progressive as the modern writers.
I mean,
just remember that the DS9
goatee, for crying out loud.
Yeah, guys, DS9. If they were allowed to do everything they wanted to do, it would have been just as progressive as Discovery.
He does say it in the documentary. He says they don't get the tick because they weren't diverse enough.
It was held back by Berman. Berman is the reason that show was successful because he held back their ultra progressive ideas. He held them back.
Well, then I want to know what Rick.
So everyone puts these guys on a pedestal, but had they had free reign to do whatever they wanted with that show, it would have been.
I think
outlandishly bad. Brian, that's fine. Okay, I'll grant you that, but the quality of their writing doesn't even compare to what the
I'll give you that.
That's true.
I'll give you that. I enjoy For All Mankind, and people go, "Oh, it's woke." You know, there's female astronauts and all that nonsense that are annoying. They are well written characters by Ron Moore.
Yeah. Writing fixes a lot of problems.
Yeah. So as long as it's written well, I've got no problem. But this goes back to what we said before. We have got no problem with organic diversity. What we have a problem with is forced diversity, which is they just slap it in there. There's no growth to the character. It's one dimensional. You could just swap them out with someone else and it's exactly the same.
I don't feel like this show suffers from forced diversity yet.
I got a feeling we might get there very soon.
I mean, except for maybe the Jemadar half Klingon. I mean, that's a little forced, but that's just bad writing.
And the
I don't think that
Klingons triad.
It's not like I mean so that's a modern trope that was thrown in there. So but it's not nearly as woke as previous modern Trek.
Are we going to rate this thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's our reaction to it. I mean, for me, to be honest with you, I give it to being nice, I give it probably a 4 out of 10.
There's no way I can rate it yet. I got to see the whole series.
Yeah,
it's too hard to rate it.
That's from where I am so far.
Like this is the most Star Trekky of the episodes so far, but also the most boring. So
I'll give it a.
So you give it a 3.
I'll give it a 3.
Guys, I mean, and just to finish off, remember there was a message during the debate towards the end of the episode where Genesis made us aware. She says whether the debate is the Federation has a moral obligation to provide security for Klingon houses. The Federation has a moral obligation to the rest of the galaxy to rebuild itself with limited post-burn resources, unless you're suggesting severe galactic rationing, he says to Genesis. And Genesis comes back with an existential crisis outweighs a little belt tightening. Oh, couldn't be about climate change, could it? And we've all got to do our bit, just to wrap up our lovely little moment there from Academy.
Yeah. I don't know what the message was supposed to be here, and I'm starting to think that maybe there wasn't really a message. It was like the characters all had their own message, and just like with the feelings and facts quote.
Yeah.
I believe that they. Like maybe Genesis does feel like she would probably feel like a modern day climate change person, right? But then clearly Caleb has no problem hacking, the replicators.
Yeah,
he has no problem being irreverent. He would probably represent the more modern Gen Alpha approach to having no issue with slurs that don't actually hurt anyone's. Doesn't actually hurt anyone. I think that Caleb is probably the based character. I think Genesis grew up in the system and she is entitled, and rightfully so because she was privileged. So she probably has a more progressive Karen type look on the universe.
Ironically, she ordered them to blow up 3
right
last week.
Yeah, that's a good point. So the thing is that I do believe that if the writing was good, and I don't think this is happening, but if it was, then just like I said last week, what it should be is that there's no one right or wrong ideology. It's a blend of everyone's ideologies with a focus on exploration and protection that makes Starfleet strong. And I think that if that blend comes together, and if that's the message, that you need the War College and you need the Academy, you need to be smart and clever, but also have empathy. Like if the message here is all these ideologies together is what makes it a strong system, that would be amazing. I don't think they're going to do that.
No,
but if they did do that, that would be real. That would be the real life. Yeah. Capitalism isn't perfect on its own. It requires a little bit of socialism, and vice versa.
Well, Brian, but we have to remember, that blend of ideologies can't evolve into its present without every moment.
And that is a perfect segue to the end of this review and reaction to
Good job, Gary.
Academy episode 4. Well played, Gary. Just like we're going to keep doing these each week. Also on Sci-Fi Chronicles, check out the other stuff we're doing because we've got breaking news on production of Stargate that's just come out. We've got trailer reactions. We've got our Stargate SG-1 watch parties. We've got our Supernatural watch parties. So we've got something for everybody. So check us out and look after yourselves, and we'll see you all again next week. Take care, all. See ya.